Representative Kim.
Thank you, Chairman Mast and Ranking Member. I want to thank our Undersecretary Rogers for joining us today. You know, the world remains focused on Operation Epic Fury, during which President Trump is demonstrating decisive leadership against an evil regime that has perpetuated decades of state-sponsored terrorism that killed Americans, and brutal oppression of its own people, and a persistent nuclear threat to the United States and to our allies. I want to turn attention to the non-kinetic efforts like strategic information operations and public diplomacy that are critical to sustaining the momentum, weakening the regime, and supporting the Iranian people's desire for change. So can you talk about how the R family tailored and disseminated messaging to the Iranian people over the past several months, from the start of the December 2025 protests through the current military operation?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Congresswoman. This is very important for us, and I'll talk about what I can talk about in this setting, and we could arrange other briefings for other material. So we have facilitated internet freedom efforts in closed societies, including Iran, all year. The VPN efforts, I think, are a matter of public record, and we continue to engage in those and others. We also have a flagship social media presence that I mentioned earlier, US Aba Farsi, with over 2.3 million followers. That's up from 1.5 million in 2021, so it's grown significantly, and that's concentrated on 3 social media platforms, X, Instagram, and Facebook, and that directly conveys US foreign policy to Persian-speaking audience. Large numbers of Iranians comment on, debate, and react to US policies across these platforms. We are also using multiple other vectors to reach Iranians directly. Our message supports their aspirations for freedom while exposing the regime's repression and regional destabilization. Although I don't control the US AGM assets, which Deputy CEO Lake supervises, my office does coordinate with her office. And there's been some misleading reporting suggesting that those efforts were dismantled or downscaled. We're very committed. You know, our Kuwait tower was briefly compromised, but we fixed that, and we're very committed to getting messaging into Iran.
Thank you. Can you, I know you talked about a lot of that. You know, I wanted to ask you about how the R family has taken to debunk the Iranian regime's disinformation and to advance the America's commitment to internet freedom. You're touching on those, but I want you to go into a little more specific, maybe using examples to, you know, the internet freedom, anti-censorship tools, and the Iranian people's right to free expression. And then you mentioned coordinating with other US agencies and allies. Talk about specifically on how you're aligning those messages to counter the regime's anti-US narratives.
Of course, Congresswoman. So when we coordinate with other agencies, that includes AGM, which includes the Open Technology Fund, and we've provided direct support for censorship circumvention technology in Iran, and that's something we continue to coordinate closely on. A lot of our other efforts on propaganda and information operations, including providing technology to the Iranian people, are very sensitive, and I can't discuss them in this setting. In terms of the broader information war, since the start of the conflict, because the situation is so fluid and so complicated, messaging has been very centralized. But, you know, leading up to this, like, digital freedom has been a core priority of my office, and we've invested in, you know, I think one difference versus prior administrations is we don't only direct our digital freedom efforts at closed societies, but we care a lot about closed societies. So we're investing in technologies to make free internet available to everyone, everywhere, and that would impactfully include Iran.
Thank you. To the extent that you want to share more in different setting, I would love to invite you to that. Thank you. I want to ask you a question about North Korea. North Korea's regime enforces draconian censorship measures and severe restrictions on freedom of speech, like isolating its people from global perspectives and denying them access to the critical unbiased information and sustaining the regime's propaganda. It should be in the U.S.'s national interest, security interest, to break that information barrier and empower the North Korean people with accurate external viewpoints. So question to you is, what strategies and public diplomacy tools is the R family utilizing when it comes to information freedom in North Korea?
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. So on North Korea, we are in complete alignment with our allies and partners, and we continue to call for the complete denuclearization of the DPRK. Both President Trump and South Korean President Lee support meaningful dialogue and have called on DPRK to abide by its international obligations. USAGM, again, has some really useful assets here that we're bringing back online. So the VOA Korean language service resumed broadcasting in December 2025 with daily 15-minute shortwave broadcasts and digital content, and plans to expand programming